Vivo has been very busy this year launching some of their smartphones. They started off with the V30 that tries to be an upgrade to the V29, while also a mid-range that is a flagship killer. And from our review, we were very impressed, and the V30 definitely achieves that purpose. And now they have released, I would say, a watered-down version, or as Vivo calls it, a light version of the Vivo V30. It definitely tries to be, I would say, a little brother or a smaller brother to the V30 in terms of camera, in terms of performance, and even the design overall. As a first look, you can definitely tell it tries to be a cheaper version of that smartphone. Hello guys, my name is Dennis Wawero, this is Techweez, and this is the Vivo V30 Lite. The Vivo V30 Lite is a smaller brother to the Vivo V30, as we've mentioned before, and from the design itself, as you take it out of the box, you can definitely tell that it tries to be that. Of course, it has the flat screen that Vivo calls the 3D flat design. That can also be told or be emphasized a lot by the fact that the screen is sort of raised a bit from the frame itself. The frame is a fingerprint magnet, but what I really like about the Vivo V30 Lite is the back itself. I sort of enjoy the brushed finish that it has to the back design overall. The phone is fairly light, as Vivo says that it has a weight overall of around 185.5 grams. It's easy to carry, it's easy to hold, it's easy to use with one hand, easy to reach on, I would say, all four corners overall. So it's definitely a phone that tries to be that little brother, and I was impressed enough by the design overall. It's not the Vivo V30 in terms of being complicated and having the curved screen, but it definitely does its job. The smartphone packs a 6.67-inch display, which I would say is big enough for viewing any kind of content, and also having a big field of view for the general interface as a whole. It's an AMOLED display, which I would say is impressive enough, especially for a phone that is a light version of the Vivo V30. It offers deep blacks and rich colors for viewing any kind of movie you want. So say you're Batman or you want to watch classic films, you can also get to view it very, very clearly on this phone. I did not have any problems when it came to the screen itself. The Vivo V30 Lite comes with the latest version of Android, which is Android 14, which is impressive enough, especially for a phone that still tries to be that little brother to the Vivo V30. It is of course covered by FunTouch OS 14, which is Vivo's own skin that tries to give the general interface the brand's own look, which comes with some pre-installed games and apps, which might be a bummer for someone who expects to set up their phone from scratch. But you can still get to uninstall if you find those games and apps to be sort of to be nagging too much. When it comes to the display itself, I found it to be very smooth when navigating through apps. This is of course helped by the 8 gigs of RAM that helps with multitasking in between apps, so you can switch in between TikTok and Twitter and Instagram without having to close and without having to have a full load on memory space. In terms of storage, you have 128 gig, or you can get another option, a bigger option, which is the 256 gigs of storage. When it comes to performance overall, I found the phone to be smooth enough. This is of course helped by the 120Hz refresh rate that helps in terms of quick responses when it comes to games, and also switching between the apps and scrolling the apps itself. The Snapdragon 685 processor is the chipset that this phone comes in. It's not the best of the best, but it definitely gives that edge when it comes to everyday performance. You will find your apps not to lag at all. When I was playing PUBG, for example, the phone didn't lag at all. And I found the phone to be smooth enough when it came to general performance. No issues at all generally. When it comes to cameras, you can definitely tell that this is where the vivo V30 Lite is the small brother to the vivo V30. It comes with 8 megapixel selfie camera, which is a very huge jump from the 50 megapixel selfie camera that the vivo V30 comes with. It's good enough. It doesn't offer that wide of a field of view, however. And one thing that I really did not like about the selfie camera, the beautification features that come as a default that take away a lot of details, a lot of facial details that you may want if you're someone who is into details when it comes to overall photography. However, if you're one who likes the beautification features, then the 8 megapixel camera for the vivo V30 Lite is for you. The back camera, of course, is also a light version, of course. It's smaller, but comes with 3 lenses. That is a 50 megapixel HD camera, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera, and of course, the depth sensor. Photos are crisp enough, and you will find that the camera app itself has features that can work for you. I especially like the Pro version that still comes in this phone that lets you control pretty much every aspect of a shot that you might want to be taking, whether it's a picture or a video, especially if you're someone who is into controlling a lot of details, whether it be exposure, brightness, saturation, all that kind of stuff. However, one thing I did not like about some of the shots that I was taking outdoors is a default filter that I saw. Some of the shots that I was taking, as you can see on the video, was sort of green. I don't know whether it was my environment, but it was something that I really did not appreciate about the camera bump as a whole. It is good enough, photos are crisp enough, photos are vivid enough, but not necessarily the best when it came to camera capabilities as a whole for the vivo V30 Lite. When it comes to the battery, I think this is where we can thank Vivo for not taking everything away when it comes to relations towards the vivo V30 and this Lite version. It comes with the 5000 milliamp hour battery, which is huge enough and pretty much the same as the bigger brother. You will find that it lasts almost over a day on a single charge if you're someone who is not on their phone every single hour of every single day. When it comes to charging overall, it is impressive thanks to the 80-watt charging brick. This one here that gives you fast enough charging. So I would say just like the big brother that charges in terms of from 0 to 100% in 48 minutes. It might not be as fast, but it is definitely fast enough and impressive enough when it comes to flash charging or fast charging as a whole. The vivo V30 Lite is available for 36,000 Kenya shillings. I would like to know from you whether you would love to buy it, whether it offers value from this review, or whether you would prefer the bigger brother, which I would say is the more impressive phone when it comes to just giving you overall value as a mid-range phone and also a flagship killer. Let us know from you what you think about the vivo V30 Lite. That's been fun. Make sure to like, share and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next one.